You ever catch yourself staring at the Lions' backfield and feel like the ground beneath? Your feet is shifting, but no one's ready to say the word that's been hovering in the Detroit air for weeks now? Picture the roar of Ford Field fading into an uneasy silence while whispers roll through the locker room. And what once felt like an unbreakable bond between two powerhouse backs now feels like it's fraying at the edges. Could one of our own, the hard-nosed warrior who ran his heart out for the city, be wearing the orange and blue for the last time? Light up the comments if you've ever bled Lions green and silver and felt that raw ache of uncertainty gnawing at your soul, because what's swirling behind the scenes right now isn't just a story about numbers or contracts. It's a seismic rift threatening the very pulse of Detroit's running game. Insiders are whispering in hushed tones. Executives are holding their breath in meetings where the air hangs heavy with tension. And behind closed doors, a question no Lion fan wants. To faces growing louder, is David Montgomery the thunder that Jahmyr Gibbs lightning on the chopping block? This isn't just about a cap hit or touches on the field. It's about what Montgomery symbolizes to the city's relentless grit. A bruising style that mirrors Detroit's blue-collar heart. A man who fought through pain and punishment to give this franchise some semblance of balance and brutality out of the backfield. But let's be honest, football's a cruel mistress, and time hasn't been kind. Montgomery's style of pounding defenses to dust has pushed his body to the brink, aging him faster than most expect in a league that devours running backs like they're tomorrow's headlines. Meanwhile, Jahmyr Gibbs is flashing the kind of electric speed and versatility that's got the front office drooling over keeping his talent locked in Detroit for the long haul, turning the spotlight away from Montgomery's bruising presence and onto a brighter, faster future. So now the Lions stand at a crossroads that could fracture the backfield that terrorized defenses last season. Can Detroit afford to carry the weight of both? Or will Montgomery, the Iowa State workhorse who gave us hope when the days were darkest, be shipped out to fill a need somewhere else, leaving a void not just in the roster, but in the hearts of fans who saw him as a cornerstone of a renaissance that still feels just out of reach? From the ashes of seasons marred by heartbreak, from the echoes of '91 still haunting every snap, the Lions management knows every decision is a double-edged sword. But what if moving Montgomery isn't just financial pragmatism? What if it signals a shift in identity, a willingness to sacrifice the old-school power-running game for a flashier, high-octane offense that spinally disconnects from the Detroit style we know and fight for? But what if, by parting ways with Montgomery, the Lions lose their soul, the heart that pounds through the trenches and grounds the team when the chips fall? What if this is Detroit's last chance to field a backfield that blends brute force with blinding speed, and we blow it? And if that domino falls, if Montgomery is traded away come next year's deadline, because the Lions can't afford to carry both and need to clear space for that inevitable Gibbs extension, you won't believe who's next to be on the block. Who else might be sacrificed on the altar of progress and cap space as Detroit chases a glory that's just tantalizingly out of reach? Because if this move hits, if Montgomery truly is out of here, Detroit's not just coming back, they're coming for blood, ready to reshape the team through fire and fury. But at what cost? Every Lion fan needs to watch closely, because the fuse is lit, and all that's left now is to wait for the explosion that could redefine this franchise forever. Enough silence. Roar now or forever be forgotten. You can feel it in the air like static, the kind of electric charge that sparks up every Detroit fan's spine. Because this isn't just about football anymore, it's about our soul, our identity etched in grit, steel, and relentless hope. Years now, we've watched our team climb from the depths of despair zero to 16 nightmares haunting the skyline. Dan Orlovsky scrambling for his life on that miserable Sunday, Calvin Johnson's ghostly farewell echoing through Ford Field, Barry Sanders walking away just when we thought we had a shot at immortality. And each time, we dust ourselves off, bite the bullet, and believe again because that's the Detroit way. But right now, there's a storm brewing that threatens to tear the foundation apart. The front office is playing a dangerous game. They're whispering in hushed tones behind closed doors, the kind of whispers that tell us that Montgomery, the bruiser who carried Detroit's hopes with his battered body and unwavering heart, might be shown the door just as Gibbs begins to glow brighter in the spotlight. And why? Cap space? Tactical shift? Or is it something darker, the whisper of a new identity? One that discards the blue-collar grit that built this city, replacing it with flash and speed, sacrificing everything that made Detroit special in the process? I can't shake the image of Montgomery's battered face after those brutal carries, bleeding, yet refusing to quit, embodying every Detroit legend who fought tooth and nail for this city. And Gibbs, oh, Gibbs faster than lightning. Electric, a symbol of where we're headed, but at what cost? If Montgomery goes, if the backfield that once powered us through heartbreak, through Jim Caldwell's firing, and the wild card collapses, disappears into the ether, what then? Does Detroit lose its anchor, its heartbeat, the soul that refused to die? Remember those seasons when Stafford's arm threw us into playoff contention, only to stumble at the last hurdle before heartbreak. And now we're on that razor's edge, again edge of change and chaos. The NFC North fears this shift. They smell blood because a Lions team that can shift from bruising power to lightning speed in one season is a nightmare in the making for any rival. What will happen if Montgomery is traded, if his name becomes just another line in a cap sheet instead of the hero on the field? Is this franchise prepared to watch its linchpin be sacrificed on the altar of progress? History teaches us that Detroit players bleed for this bad Sanders, left a legacy of silent rebellion. Calvin retired in disgust, and Caldwell's firing scarred more than just the coaching staff, it scarred our collective soul. Every wild card collapse, every playoff heartbreak was rooted in a stubborn refusal to adapt. But now? Now we're seeing the same pattern emerge again, coaches hinting, insiders leaking, fans holding their breath, waiting for the axe to fall. Could Montgomery be the next to fall? Or worse, what if they don't trade him because they see him as the perfect bridge, the last of that blue-collar grit, even as the decision threatens to fracture everything we hold dear? The shadows linger over Ford Field, and you can feel it in every sideline glance, every sideline dispute. This franchise, our franchise, stands on the precipice not of a rebuild, but of a revolution that could erase the very essence of what Detroit football was meant to be. And as the clock ticks toward the deadline, the question remains, how much of our history are we willing to abandon for a shot at fleeting glory? And what happens if we lose the heart, the grit, the soul we fought so hard to protect? Because if Montgomery goes, if the backfield is remade without him, can this team still call itself Detroit? Or will we become just another flash in the pan, a moment forgotten in the cold Detroit snow? The answer hangs dangerously in the balance, and every Detroit fan is holding their collective breath, waiting for the shattering realization that could come one seismic decision away. Because one way or another, this story won't be finished until the last whistle blows and nobody knows what the final chapter will hold.